I would like to talk about FHIR.ts, a library for the front-end devs. I'll start with a brief introduction. Who am I? My name is Aditya Dave, and you can call me Adi for short. I'm a senior software developer at Smile Digital Health. Pretty sure you will have one question at the end. Well, my last name is Dave, so that's going to be interesting. I have been called David a couple of times, so that's fine, no issues. Well, I'll start with why do you want FHIR.ts? I'm pretty sure for front-end devs, whenever you are writing code, you are fetching resources, you are facing issues with, well, get this property, get this identifier, get this values out of the resource and all that, right? Initially starting out, you type in your hard-coded like queries, right? You write, I don't know, question mark include, etc., all of those. Want some compile time type checking with the JavaScript or TypeScript code base. Well, that's where FHIR.ts comes into play. So FHIR.ts is a lightweight front-end TypeScript and JavaScript compatible library, which started out as an internal library. Whoa, and there's a mistake, but we eventually just thought, well, why not make it useful for other devs outside Smile Digital Health. So we published it a while ago. I do not remember the reason we call it FHIR.ts, but it's the way it is. We'll see how it goes. And now it is obviously published on NPM and Yarn, obviously, and you can get into your projects. There are two samples that I will walk through quickly. They are Angular and React samples that you can actually get started with, and how to use FHIR.ts. And I will actually go to the code base. Okay, so this is the React app. I'll actually start with just starting up what's happening at the moment, and okay, perfect. Whoops. Okay, so one of the utilities that we ship with FHIR.ts is creating patch parameters. I know I've had difficult times writing up FHIR patch parameters manually, and well, it would be useful for all of us if we had some kind of utility that will write the parameters for us. So for example, and apologies for the not so beautiful application, but let's say you want to do a delete operation. Let's say you want to do, I don't know, patient dot contact at 0, and then create parameters. It's going to generate that simple parameters, and you can just plug it in, use it directly. I know many people also prefer JSON patch over FHIR patch because it's easier to use in my opinion. But just an example, you can play around with it. For example, if you want to do move, and usually, let's say if you want identifier with it, source one and the destination one, and this will generate, the parameters for a move operation type, right? There is also an example I would like to quickly go over. You can actually chain it. So I have code for that, and let me just uncomment that quickly. Oops. Or, man, I'm not a React person, but I will show you the code base. You can actually chain your parameters like this. So if I bump up thing, so you can create multiple patch parameters if you would like, for the same resource. Let's say you want to create for patient identifier, you can do that, and you can chain the parameters. You can have multiple patch operations going in, and you can generate the patch parameters out of it, right? So there's an example for that. And as I mentioned in the slide deck, that's a repository link. It's currently hosted actually on my GitHub, but we might just export it to, well, our organization repository later on. I'll talk to, so that's also JavaScript use base, right? one interesting thing I would like to talk about is also the package manager. So I'm using Yarn here just to showcase that the capabilities that it can be used with Yarn and JavaScript. And then the other project that I have is for Angular. Now, and let me go. So while that happens, I will quickly showcase, probably zoomed in a bit more. So this is TypeScript, and I'd like to showcase two set of code bases here. Not this one. All right, and let me do this. All right, so traditionally you would do something on the left-hand side, right? You would just write a for loop, and then you will filter through the extensions. You will maybe filter through the given names if you want that. Just an example there. You want an SSN identifier check, you will just write your filters manually, right? On the right-hand side is the FHIR.ts way. Essentially, you have those utilities. You can get those values directly, right? Rather than looping through. I'm a big fan of TDD. So I don't have to write tests for that because I can just mock it, whatever is on the right side. Versus on the left-hand side, I have to have that JSON, do that validation and all of that. So writing a simple test is also, well, easy actually. Let me just close this. Boy, okay, there. And as you can see here, when I'm writing a test with FHIR.ts, it's just a couple of spies and I'm good. I don't need to worry about what is returned from the library because that works, that's 100% tested. And obviously, I don't need any sample JSON files in my application. Well, code base at least, to test out, import during runtime and all of that, right? So that is the Angular way. The usage here, if I show, as I've shown, is essentially you import the resource utilities, you get identifiers with a specific URL, what you want to filter against, which is the system, and then it will give you the identifier that you're looking for. And then obviously there's a get values at resource path, etc., etc. There's a get extension by URL, a couple of simple utilities that will save a lot of time, if we have it. I'm pretty sure it saves our time when we are parsing out the resources and writing out the filters. The application isn't, well, it doesn't do much. It's just a material table that actually shows the exact same thing. The first one is the filters that we wrote with the traditional way, and then the second one is with the FHIR.ts way. As you see, no differences. I thought it would be good to have some UI for better display purposes. So that is the application, and obviously, again, as I mentioned, the code base is on GitHub, right? One interesting thing on the Angular side I would like to showcase is the library that I'm using here for types, right? So this is the type library which is used for, like, it's definitely types. So we are not bounding anyone to kind of use the type definitions that are published by our library. You can use any library, just plug it in, and it should be useful. So there's that. And this project is using NPM, so a different package manager. So there's that, and let's go back. So this is just an image of traditional usage, like how do we do things, right? Obviously, you might have your own services that will kind of do this for you. And with respect to how you do it with FHIR.ts, it's going to be essentially just 3 simple lines instead of manual filters, right? A similar example for the patch, where you would just type in what patch parameters you need, and then it will generate the JSON result for you, and that's that. What are the existing set of utilities? So these are the existing set of utilities. I won't go over each and every one of them. at the moment. We are still very much in the, I would say, well, building out phase. There are so many pieces that we would need to add because there are so many FHIR operations, I would say. But yeah, it's getting there. Hopefully, we'll have some more utilities over the time, and which can be used across board, or front end or back end. Front end, Angular or TypeScript or JavaScript, regardless of what types you use. Now, I would go to the future plans. There are some new utilities that are planned. I would like to add a pagination util. There's a GraphQL utility. And we also have a query builder utility. We would like to expand that. The goal here, as I said, I would like to reiterate is not to bind you to a specific library for the front end. These are just the utils. You can use your existing code base regardless of what library you're using and just plug and play, right? So that's the main goal of it. Obviously, we'd like some feedback from the devs, create issues on GitHub, create a PR, why not? Right, we'll accept that. And yeah, you can contact me through email, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, feel free to contact me, and yeah, I'll go for questions if you have any. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? Good stuff. I do have a question. How are you generating your underlying models right now? Are those based off of the Happy Java ones, or are those completely separate?
Yeah, so I do it generating from the open API spec that is available through the FHIR Swagger API.
Okay.
And then use Swagger CodeGen.
Okay. Never mind. We'll sync up later.
Yeah. Hi. Great presentation. My question is about VS Code extension you have that highlights the curve. Like, what is the function that you are inside of? Like it could keeps that name function, like you can see it all the time.
Oh, that's just in the newer version of VS.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I haven't updated it like in 2 years. So.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Any more questions?
With FHIR.ts, do you touch CDS hooks at all? This is more just a pondering question.
So we do have apps internally at the moment that use CDS, and we might add utilities for it because there are multiple projects using it. We might just extract them out, put it in FHIR.ts, but that's something we'll need to take, back and work on it. That's it. Yeah.
Any more?
Wow, I did not expect this many questions. Yeah.
Since I asked Gino a similar question, have you done anything with profiles?
No, nothing with the profiles. I'm not that far yet, unfortunately. Yeah, maybe, but I think, yeah, sure.
All right. Then, thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.